Hello everyone, my name is Rahman Shaikh EarningWala and I am the student of Rehan School Online Academy. Today we have an amazing and special guest in our studio and his name is Kirk. So first of all, welcome him and let's start our today's interview. So hello sir, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And how are you? And hello to everyone.
I am also good. So sir, can you introduce yourself?
I'll give the short introduction. Is
Yeah,
I
yeah.
am a I started out as a public relations professional working in public relations, and later on in my career, I switched over to public relations education, and I've been teaching in colleges in Massachusetts and now here in Florida for a long time, 20 years total, I think. But it's been a lot of fun. I started out, and I'll just say this: my first degree was British literature, and I thought I would be teaching in a university teaching literature. Then I joined the United States Air Force, 1968. Wound up in Vietnam teaching English as a second language, and was enjoying being in the Air Force, but I was doing other things. And this is how I got into public relations. Is I was doing more things that were more management, not teaching. And so I said, okay, maybe we should get a management degree. So I started studying for a bachelor's degree in business management, had to take an elective. This is where you choose any course you want. And you always look for the easiest course you can find for electives. And I saw something, it was called Introduction to Public Relations. I read the description. I said, this is easy. I can do this one. Then I signed up. I started reading the book and I go, oh my, that's what I've been doing for the last about 4 years in the Air Force. I just did not know that's what it was called. So, it's just very, very lucky that I chose this course and chose that as that. And so I finished my time in the Air Force, found a paid internship working for the United States Army in public affairs, public relations. And that's where my career started. 1978, started as an intern, and the rest is history.
That's great to know, sir. Okay, so my first question from you is, can you tell me that how has the academic landscape changed since you first began teaching?
Well, I haven't been teaching that long, really. So, but the main thing, and again, this applies to my profession. I teach public relations. Excuse me, public relations. Social media has become the way almost of communicating, both professionally and personally. And so for me, the teaching landscape means that I have to make sure my students understand the changes that are happening while they're sitting in the classroom and be ready when they walk out the door with their diploma to deal with it. So it is a lot of that. And it really, I think it has become more a challenge for the academic side, for the professors, to help students find out where they want to go and not waste time. As I wish my professors back then had said, Kirk, you are a very good writer. You might want to think about communication as a degree, not literature, because the journalism communication department was right next door to the English department. But, it wasn't. Nobody told me this. I found out by myself. So this is it. And we really do. There's so much that students want to know about. And we, the professors, have to be on top of what's happening. So long answer, but it's a lot of fun.
Okay, yeah, you are right. So my next question is, what initially inspired you to pursue a career in communication and education?
Well, again, I literally had no idea what public relations or even communication was. I never took a communication course throughout my first degree. I'll go back and start again here. I thought I wanted to be an engineer. I thought I wanted to build highways and bridges and stuff like that because I had worked for 3 summers during high school and as an intern for their highway department. So I started that. Then when I started studying engineering, I realized that I really don't like it. And that's how I changed to English because my advisor said, you've always done well in literature. Why don't you major? But as I say, so I 4 years, a degree. Had I not joined the Air Force and gone off to do something else and decide that I wanted to go in a different direction, I would not have discovered this. It was that one course that I took, the Introduction to Public Relations, that told me, yeah, Kirk, this is where you want to be. And I've never, ever regretted that decision.
Okay. So my next question is basically, what do you consider the most rewarding uh, aspect of being an educator?
For me, it is seeing my students find their path and go out and succeed. I love it. I stay in touch with hundreds of students that I've met in the past. And I love it when I see them excitedly saying on Facebook, on LinkedIn, somewhere that they've gotten this new great job here or they're moving up a level, they've been promoted. That's the rewarding part, is knowing that I helped them a little bit, somehow, hopefully help them find their path. And that it truly is. It's rewarding.
Okay. So my next question is, like, it is difficult to engage your students in your class. So my next question is, how do you engage students from diverse background in your classroom?
I try to make I don't teach book teaching. I teach real life teaching. So students learn very early on that Kirk asks a lot of questions. And he walks up and down the aisles in the classroom and he stops in front of somebody and says, this happened. What do you think? And what they learn is that I care. I listen to them, and they are encouraged to share their own stories, to share their concerns, and and we're all in this together. Years and years and years ago, when I was in the Air Force, I was stationed in the Philippines, and our theme song, the song that we played for our official things, was "We all play in the same band," and that's what I want my students. Yeah, you may be from here, you may be from there, but we're in this together. So it's very much a one-on-one, a personal relationship.
Okay. So my next question is, what's your most memorable moment as a lecturer?
Wow, there's a lot of them. One thing, and this is going to sound so weird here, is the one day when a student told me she had taken 3 or 4 or 5 of my PR classes. We went to a meeting, a public relations meeting, and had some presidents of some public relations firms talking about what they expect from their employees. And this is a good introduction if you're going to go into public relations, hear from the boss. What does he want? And we're leaving the meeting, and she turned to me and she said, "We need to talk." And I said, "Okay, fine. What?" "I don't think I want to do this public relations stuff anymore." I go, "Okay, what are you interested in?" And she said, my major right now is communication, public relations. My minor is social work. I really love social work. I said, "Then do it." She changed her major, graduated with a degree in social work. We're talking 10 plus years later now. She is a very senior member of a big hospital in Boston, working in her field of social work. That I will never forget that. Is, yeah, we have this one-on-one conversation, and I helped her find her path. And it made me feel so good, because I don't expect every one of you to do what I did. I want you to do what you love doing. There we have it.
Yeah, you are right. That love what you are interested in. So, my next question from you is, can you tell me that how did your experience at Regis College differ from your time at the University of Tampa?
Yeah, the only real difference was Regis College. I was teaching graduate level public relations courses. At University of Tampa, I teach undergraduate. That's the only difference. All of the universities that I have taught at, every one of them, the goal, the mission is the same. Um, and what I would say, sometimes it's the experience level of the professors. At some universities where I have taught, the professors bring years and years and years of real life experience. And other universities, they bring years and years and years of textbook learning. And it's nice to know what's in the textbook. It's better to know what's in the real world. And
Exactly.
so it Regis, because in the graduate program, almost all of us were part-time, and we were all practicing public relations professionals. So when we came into the classroom, we're talking about what I did 45 minutes ago in my office, not what it says in the textbook. So, but after that, the experience is the same. Making the connection with the students, helping them figure out where they want to go, and then doing what I can to help them get there.
Okay, so my next question is, what advice would you give to aspiring professors and lecturers in the communication field?
Very simple. Know what you're talking about. Don't if you have be aware of what is happening today in your field, not what it says in the textbook. Right? The textbook is nice. Yes, it gives you the background, it gives you sometimes the reasoning and that, but it is so much better when you can say, "This happened today. Here's what was done, and here's why." So don't don't pretend you know something that you don't know about, because the student, will find out.
Okay, so my next question is, uh, how do you measure success as an educator?
Very simple. The success of my students. If the students, if when my students, if they walk out the door and 10 years later they're still looking for a job, I failed. Absolutely. Now, yeah, not there's going to be times when it's a little difficult getting that first position, but I'm going to do every single thing that I can do to help you get where you want to go. So it is. Yeah, it's just, yeah. If they're not getting jobs, if they're not doing what they love doing, I failed.
Exactly, sir. Uh, okay, so my next question is, uh, what sacrifices did you have to make to get where you are today?
Well, in some cases, it could be it's what could say it was maybe not making as much money as I would like to make, because teachers don't make a ton of money, but they they do live comfortably. Um, but that to me has been the only, and I don't consider that a sacrifice because I'm doing what I love doing. Yes, I loved working in public relations because I was able to do some pretty, I like to say, pat myself on the back, amazing things for my employer, whoever it might have been. You know, but that's you're looking for that, and you just keep hoping throughout life that you're able to succeed in whatever you're trying to do.
Okay, so my next question is, what's the most surprising or unexpected question a student ever asked you in class?
The question that I always ask, why? You know, it's one thing to sit and say, you can sit and talk and you sound like you really know what you're talking about, blah, 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 blah. Uh, but then someone turns around and and asks you a very simple question, why? And that's a challenge. It's a challenge because it's it means that I have to have up here and in my heart, I have to know and believe what I'm talking about. So I don't know if that answers it or not, but I've kind of been all over the place. But it's I love it when the students challenge me.
Okay, so it's mean that you love challenges.
I do.
Uh, that's great to know. Okay, so my next question is, if you could invent a communication related gadget, what would it do?
That's a good question because I think we've got more than when I started in public relations many years ago. We had nothing. Uh, I tell the quick story here. When I was an intern, I was living in the state of Virginia. Had left the Air Force, started working for the Army in the same town in Virginia, and my top boss was the commanding general of the command. And every time he made a speech, I had to get a copy of his speech and have a driver go from our office up to Washington, D.C., a 3-hour drive in good traffic to get approval at the Pentagon. Now, and they had to be able to see the speech to know what he's going to say. Then this wonderful machine came along where you could take a piece of paper, put it into the machine, hook your telephone in, and send it across. It was called the facsimile machine, the fax machine. That was brand new. So instead of having 3-hour trip up, 3 hours back, hi, this is Kirk. I've got getting ready to send a speech. Okay, fine. 1 hour later, I've got my answer. What do we need today? We need some way to control the many, 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 many ways there are of communicating. What I would like to have if I were working in public relations is something that would tell me immediately, Kirk, this person in Pakistan is talking about your company. Here's what they're saying. Instead of me having to wait to find out. Now, yes, social media today, I monitor everything. So I'm able to stay kind of even with what's happening, but there's always something somewhere. What will it be that's going to do that? I have absolutely no idea. And I'm waiting for the next genius to come to create the thing. But, we've got some pretty remarkable things today that help us keep up with what's happening and to respond appropriately.
Okay, so my next question from you is, can you tell me that, can you recall a failure that ended up teaching you more than any success?
Let's see. Probably nothing. I'm happy to say, pat myself on the back again, that I really have not experienced major failures. The one thing that when I working with one organization where we had 3 different crises, 3 different bad things happen at exactly the same time on the same day. And trying to keep the media down as much as possible. We did a pretty good job, but I wish that, I would, if I had known to then what I know today, I would have been much more prepared for the situation. Luckily, I had experience, not exactly the same, but kind of similar in my earlier years. So I was able to deal with it, but not perfectly.
Okay, so I think that almost people make mistakes in communication. So my next question is from that. My question is, what's one communication mistake you have made that you can laugh about now?
Let's see. Um, I think, and it's going to sound very, very strange. It was in my very first public affairs job working with the Army. After I finished my internship, I was given a permanent assignment. And the public relations, I was on an Army base. My organization was on this base. I was the public affairs officer for this organization, but we had folks on the base who were sort of higher level. And their newspaper, I had been doing some publicity promoting our students and things, and the newspaper wanted to do a story about our students. And gee, this is a good idea. My commander did not think so. And the picture that was taken of the student had our symbol on the student's uniform, little patch that identified who we were. I came to work the next morning. The newspaper was on my desk with a big red circle around the picture and 2 words, "See me." That was from my commander. So I went in. He was not a happy person because he thought he saw this as being something that was saying, "Ew, look at them. They don't know. They have to do all this extra work." And I had to explain to him, "No, sir. This shows how hard our students are working to succeed. That's how people are going to see this. Not negative. This is a positive." But I am at that time a very brand new employee, and I'm looking at a person who has more than 30 years experience, and he is the top man, and he's not a happy person. But it worked out okay. And he realized that that I actually knew what I was doing and that I would not do stupid things. I would do things that would help us. And from then on, it was uphill and having a good time.
Okay, so my next question is, can you share a real world communication crisis you have witnessed or handled?
A communication crisis?
Yep.
It's, well, the one I talked about, and I'll say the company with the Honeywell Corporation, where I had the general manager, the vice president, general manager of our division was fired. We laid off 10% of the workforce on that day. And while that was happening, we had a drug bust. We had some federal investigators come into our building and arrest some people for dealing with drugs in one of our laboratories. So I've got three different crises going on at the same time. We made it through. And it meant that I had to be, I was in my office for a long time, talking with reporters, explaining what was going on, and making sure when they started the questions, which situation they were talking about, because if they don't know about this one, I'm not going to tell them about it. But, it worked well, and it taught me that I can juggle several balls at the same time and not make any mistakes. And the company, we came out very, very good, all things considered, when it was over. No real negative perceptions.
Okay, so my last question from you is, if you had a magic whiteboard and could write one sentence that the whole world would see, what would it be?
It would be, and this comes from the heart, I did my best. That's it. It's, it's
Okay,
simple, but that's what it was.
okay. So in last, can you give any kind of advice to our audience?
I say, and a lot of people hear me say this all the time. First thing first, never stop learning. Even today, I'm 850 million years in the profession here, but I still look for opportunities to learn new things. Never stop learning, and be yourself. Don't pretend you're something that you're not. Be yourself. The public wants real life, real people.
Yeah, you are right. So thank you very much, sir, once again for
But thank
giving me
you.
your precious time.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
You're most welcome. So, dear audience, uh, we will meet again soon. So, till then, take care of yourself. Stay tuned with us, and bye bye.
Okay. Okay. Bye bye.